Hello and welcome to Lovely English Stories. Thank you for stopping by. This story is written for upper intermediate English learners. Ready? Let's get started. B2 English Story. The Sunday Scaries. Paula always woke up on a Sunday morning with a feeling of dread in her stomach. It was the same week after week. Ever since she was a little girl, she had experienced it. It started at nursery school. She was being bullied by Rebecca, who was big and scary and mean to everyone. She dwarfed the other children, so they were terrified of her. She always called Paula names and pulled her hair. Luckily, Rebecca moved away, and then Paula was much happier. When Paula started school, the dread came back. She would always worry that she'd forgotten her homework or had done something wrong. Thankfully, she was never bullied again, but the way Rebecca treated her haunted her for years. She hoped she wasn't still as nasty as she was as a child. Throughout school, Paula always did well. She was an above-average student. She coasted along but lived for her time outside of the classroom. She loved to mess around in the schoolyard and socialize with her friends after school. She never wanted Mondays to come around. She wanted to stay in the comfortable bubble of her weekend and be happy and free forever. As an adult, Rebecca dreaded Sundays almost as much as Mondays. She knew that almost every Sunday she would spend the day fretting about the week ahead. Has she planned all her meetings properly? Were all her reports up to date? Would any of her team call in sick? Would her clients go where they were meant to? She often spent most of her Sundays checking her emails and getting ready for Monday morning. This drove her family insane, but it helped her to cope with the intensity of her job. So out of the 7 days of the week, she only really had Friday evening and Saturday when she could truly let go and relax. Paula had got what many people deem to be an exciting or glamorous job. She was a talent agent in London. She started working as an intern when she was 18 and had worked her way up. Now she was in charge of the interns and had 2 assistants. She also had a roster of 50 actors to look after and promote. Some of them were musical theatre performers, others were strictly stage actors, and the rest were TV and commercial talent. Paula never wanted to go to university. She wanted to start earning cash as soon as she could. She'd had enough of writing essays and listening to teachers. She wanted to be free to explore different career paths. Little did she know that her first job would be the perfect one for her. Luckily, Paula grew up in Tower Hamlets in London, so she had a plethora of options available to her when she left school. She could afford to take on a low-paying internship because she was still living with her parents. From the moment she walked into the talent agency in Soho, she knew this was the life for her. In the beginning, she was nothing more than a dog's body. She replied to emails, sent out autographs to fans, made drinks for the team, and filed away requests and invoices. She didn't mind. She was learning so much, and she also got to meet some of her idols. During her year as an intern and her first year as an agent's assistant, Paula never dreaded Mondays. She lived and breathed for her job. It was her everything. She loved nothing more than putting actors up for jobs, attending auditions and shows, and walking down the red carpet representing the agency. Every day was a thrill, even if the office was just like any other. The opportunities the job gave her were extraordinary. After 3.5 years with the agency, she was offered a promotion. One of the long-standing members of staff was leaving to move to LA and work for an agency over there. Paula envied her and hoped one day she could follow in her footsteps. Paula had made such a tremendous impact and had innovated the way the agency worked that she was the obvious choice for the agent's replacement. It was a steep learning curve for her. She was no longer taking orders but learning to give them. She was only just 22 and already in a position of authority. It terrified her. She didn't want to disappoint anyone or let the agency or her clients down. The more successful she became, the more she dreaded Mondays. She longed for the days when she didn't feel anxious. This only ever seemed to happen when she went on holiday or did excessive amounts of yoga. Paula permanently had the Sunday Scaries. The reality of Paula's situation was that she had nothing to be scared about. She was excellent at her job. Her colleagues and her clients loved collaborating with her, and she was incredibly hard-working. She realized that all of her issues went back to those days at nursery when she would pack her little bag and worry about what Rebecca was going to do to her the following week. These days, Paula didn't have Rebecca to worry about. She had contracts, auditions, invoices, casting directors, actors, interns, and more on her plate. And yet, she started to realize that what she was worried about was imaginary. She needed a way to distract her brain and train it to realize that she was in a very privileged and lucky position. Paula decided to confide in her mother about how she had been feeling. Her mother was not surprised. She sensed that Paula had not been herself for a while. She explained to her that she shouldn't waste her time worrying about imaginary situations, because most of the time they won't come true. Just think of all those Sundays you've wasted by being anxious when you could have spent them relaxing or having fun with your friends. Her mum was right. Most of the things Paula found herself worrying about never happened. She realized that from being a small child, her mind had got into the habit, subconsciously or not, of worrying about the week ahead. To help Paula enjoy her life to the fullest, she enlisted the help of her friends, family, and boyfriend. She made exciting plans for the next 6 Sundays. She booked to go to a theme park, to go wild swimming, to have a weekend away with her boyfriend, and afternoon tea with champagne with her friends, a day at the cinema, and a day at a spa. Perhaps if she could make her brain realize that Sundays could be fun days, she would start to enjoy life more. The first week of her new routine didn't go to plan. She spent most of the day at the theme park on the phone to a worried actor who was due to be on set the next day and had imposter syndrome. All Paula could think was, "This isn't the place or the time." Nevertheless, she was kind and considerate to the actor and tried to put their mind at ease in between rides on the roller coasters. The following week was much better. She went wild swimming in Brighton with one of her best friends. She had no interruptions as she left her phone at her friend's flat. She was uncontactable, and so she was able to fully switch off and be in the moment. Swimming in the sea really washed off her worries and made her feel fresh and invigorated. The next week, she spent the weekend away with her boyfriend. To ensure she had no distractions, she set her phone to Do Not Disturb. That way, she wasn't distracted by notifications or questions from her clients that really could wait until Monday. It worked a treat. She slowly felt the Sunday Scaries seeping away. The following weeks with her friends at the afternoon tea, the cinema and the spa also worked remarkably well. She was able to drag herself away from her work and enjoy the fruits of her labour. She realised that she needed to enjoy her time away from her career as much as she enjoyed working. After all, there's no rest for the wicked. As a result of Paula having fun-filled weekends, she felt refreshed and ready to take on the coming weeks. Her memories of Rebecca the bully had well and truly been wiped from her mind. She had a new lease of life, and her Sundays were back. Do you suffer from the Sunday Scaries? Tell us in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed this lovely English story. Thank you for stopping by. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you soon.